This is Blue Lock.
How will you mess with the other team, make them yield, and then utterly destroy them on the field?
It's the new big sports anime in town. It was Japan's best-selling manga in 2023, it won a bunch of awards, and even got its own musical. Wild, right? But as popular as Blue Lock is, it's also kind of a mystery. Like, there's a few things about it that are just a little weird. First of all, it's pretty toxic for a sports anime, right? It's a story about a bunch of teenage boys in football jail who essentially get groomed into being narcissists. And, you know, that sounds cool as fuck. But objectively speaking, it's kind of strange. And that's because sports animes are usually all about positivity and teamwork and wanking each other off in the boys' locker room. I mean, that's been the de facto formula for years. All the top shows do it. And yet, here's Blue Lock, right? Flipping all of that on its head. Instead of being cheery and positive, it's dark and intense. Instead of being cooperative and team-oriented, it's selfish and individualistic. It's breaking every rule in the playbook and being rewarded with fame and fortune for it. Like, how does that happen? But the weirdest thing of all, this seemingly toxic football anime, where they teach you to be ruthless and to devour your teammates, may have just saved an entire generation of young people. It's clear the show has a lot going on under the surface, so let's take it from the top. Blue Lock, the manga, dropped all the way back in 2018, and it did alright, but it really started to take off when the anime came out in 2022. Now, part of the reason the show got so big was because it launched at the best possible time it could have. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just say the world was a different place back in the early 2020s. It was a lot more politically correct, if you know what I mean. People were screaming at each other for eating the wrong thing. Numbers were racist for some reason. And worst of all, they banned my favorite word. Fast forward to today, and the world is healing from these unspeakable crimes. But back then, it was bad. And this shenanigans went on for a couple very rough years. But by the end of 2021, most people had enough of it. They were done with this wimpy, weak-bellied, did I hurt your feelings nonsense. No more would algebra be sexist. And all of a sudden, people were hungry. Hungry for something different. Hungry for something a little toxic. So yeah, Blue Lock was kind of in the right place at the right time. It was this edgy, provocative show that came out right when the world needed it the most. And because of that, it got a ton of hype. Wait, so is that it? Did Blue Lock just get big off of shock value and novelty? I mean, it's been done before. There's tons of shows that have blown up for being edgy. Remember Goblin Slayer? Very naughty. But no, I don't think it's that simple, because novelty wears off pretty quick, especially if the show has no substance. Just look at Goblin Slayer today and, oh, yeah, it's dead. Blue Lock, on the other hand, continues to grow. The hype train never stopped, and it's still one of the most popular anime around today. So, what's going on here? Well, turns out there's something about Blue Lock that grips people, that speaks to them on a deep, almost instinctual level. And to figure out what that is, we gotta go back even further, all the way to the 1800s. Alright, this is gonna sound a little weird. So all the stuff that they're trying to teach us in Blue Lock, right? All the build your ego or learn to be selfish, all that jazz, that all actually has deep historical roots in a little branch of philosophy called Egoism, which started picking up steam in Europe about 200 years ago. So let's talk about that for a bit. Now, the 1800s were the period right after the Enlightenment, which means people at the time were all super into ideas like rationality, morality, and the importance of working together. And while most people saw these ideas and thought, yeah, that sounds pretty good, there was this one guy who looked at all of that and just went, nah, f this. And that guy was Max Stirner, the absolute Giga Chad. Just look at him. Guy looks like a James Bond villain for f***'s sake. Even the drawings of him are cool. Anyway, while everyone around Max was on board with the idea of working together for the greater good, he saw these ideas as weapons the people in power were using to control the masses. For example, communism. You know, the whole idea of communism was to promote equality, right? Like, everyone should pitch in and do their part so we can all be equal. Sounds really good. But all that happened in the end was that the people at the top got really, really rich. And the people at the bottom, well, let's just say they were having less fun. And so, Max, worried the same thing would happen here, didn't have any of it. He was determined to sound the alarm, to warn the people about these sweet-sounding but shit-smelling ideas that were floating around designed to control them. So, he founded his own, very sexy, school of thought, called Egoism. And Egoism was pretty easy to understand. There was really only one rule: put yourself first. Only do things that would benefit you. You are the main character. Be selfish. Sound familiar? Now, as you'd expect, this message sold like hotcakes, because people love themselves, right? I mean, more people die in a year taking selfies than by shark attacks. Anyway, while Egoism didn't quite go mainstream, it did get pretty popular in a few niche circles. And coming back to today, we find that this same message from 200 years ago is even more relevant now. I mean, people trying to control you with ideas that sound really good, but actually kinda suck? Where have we seen that before? It's literally happening all over again. Max was right. And so it kinda makes sense why Blue Lock is resonating with people so deeply, right? It's basically selling Egoism, the cure to all the shenanigans, packaged in a stone-cold anime about everyone's favorite sport. Nice, we figured it out. So Blue Lock is spreading the message of Egoism, which people really vibe with, and that's why it's so popular. But wait, that's terrible news. Because Egoism was popular, sure, but it also made people angry and bitter, causing riots and protests from its followers rebelling against the establishment. Is history gonna repeat itself here too? Because if Egoism leads to violence, and Blue Lock is selling Egoism, then are we, the Blue Lock enjoyers, eventually gonna start rioting too? Is the show saving us from one evil but leading us to another? I know it sounds dumb to worry about a TV show brainwashing people and turning them into bad guys, but it happens! Look, the US has always had a problem with this one group of people that really likes dressing up as ghosts, right? But you know they actually disbanded a long time ago? And everything was going great until this really racist movie came out called Birth of a Nation. Then suddenly, people started dressing up all over again, brought back the hats and everything. And now, you can't get rid of them! And as much as I'd like to keep yanking your chain for watch time, like, ooh, Blue Lock's gonna turn us all into psychopaths, ooh, like, I don't think it's gonna happen. Because keep in mind where the show came from, right? Japan, one of the most collectivist, most cooperative countries in the world. If the show was really a bad influence, surely Japan, of all places, would have stopped it dead in its tracks. I mean, these are the same guys who cleaned up the stadium at the World Cup after their team lost. If this show was turning people into narcissists, wouldn't they be trying to shut it down instead of throwing money at it? So what's going on here? Well, the secret is, the show is very nuanced. Like, if you look past what the characters say and focus on their actions, you'll notice something interesting. Blue Lock doesn't actually promote narcissism. It may say things like, devour your friends, but all it really wants is for you to learn from them to get better. Like, when it tells you to destroy your teammates' dreams, what it actually means is, don't sacrifice your own ambitions out of consideration for other people. So there's this scene where boys in blue are choosing their starters for the game against Japan's under-20s, right? And this match is a big deal. The stakes are high. If they win, they get a golden ticket all the way to the top. And if they lose, their football careers are over. There's like 50 of them and only 11 can be on the team, so how did they choose the best players? Well, according to the coach, if you want to get chosen, you have to 1. Assert yourself, 2. Coexist with the rest of the team, and of course, make everyone else your bitch or whatever. The point is, the anime isn't devaluing teamwork or asking you to screw over your friends. It's right there. It's telling you to be confident, to play nice with other people, and to take charge of your own life. The only reason it sounds so toxic is because the show phrases all of this in the most intense way possible. And to be honest, Egoism is kinda like that too if you read into it deep enough. The real message is a reminder that you'll never be the best version of yourself if you keep putting everyone else before you. That if you don't have an ego, if you don't respect yourself enough to go after what you want, if you don't believe in yourself, then no one's ever gonna take you seriously. And that's a message a lot of people needed to hear. Like, here, look. This guy learned to value his opinions more. This guy started putting himself first. And this guy pulled off his lifelong dream of starting his own business. There are so many of these out there. Long ones, short ones, all of them thanking Blue Lock for touching their lives and giving them the strength they needed. And then, we got the weird ones. Femboys come in all shapes and sizes. Right. I'm not gay, but he already got me acting up. Okay. Be loud and proud about how you're about to bust. Okay, you know what? Let's see if we can find some non-sexual ones. Racism. Violence is okay if you're cute about it. Hang on a sec. Kill my enemy/friend to get the goals. No, wait, no. I suck way more dick now. More gay. Devour all my What the hell is going on here? I've awakened my love for red-haired femboys. I've also learned it's not gay if they have a feminine... Okay. You know what? I think that's enough internet for today. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go wash my eyes out with bleach. Subscribe!